What's going on, everybody? Spaceballs here. Welcome back to the reincarnation video. Alright, we got a bunch of new stuff again. Subjugation, abstract Lavanya. I think I'm saying that right. I've been playing with Google Pronounce trying to get it. There's so many different ways to pronounce the name. So I'm going to stick with Lavanya and hope that that's the right way to say it. If not, you can rip me up in the comments as always. But we're going to review everything. I'm going to show you guys my current scores in the sub content. So let's get into all of that. First up, we will talk about the new abstract Lavanya. And I'm going to say right off the bat, falling in line with all the other abstract characters. It seems that if they have abstract in front of their name, they're going to be a really good character. So first up on the main skill, we have deals 90% damage to a single enemy 5 times. Also has a 75% chance to inflict blind for 3 turns. We know blind and stun super strong in nier reincarnation. So reading that, blind for 3 turns sounds really OP to me. It's just like Lars. Lars has a stun and his stun is only for 1 turn. So having a blind for 3 turns, that could be really strong and a lot of content in the game. Make me want to summon for Lavanya even more, but I'm not going to because I've already done so many summons. I have so many characters to build at this point. I'm just going to leave it alone. For the first ability, we have damage up by 40% when HP is below 60%. That's a good one. I like that. Because a lot of times your HP will go below 60%, so it's easy to take advantage of that ability. And then for the last one, we have Vigor, and that's attack up by 20%. I really like the way this character sounds. If you guys have been saving your summons, I don't see why you wouldn't go for the abstract monster. And then for the ability, we have the gauntlets. First skill deals 90% damage to one enemy 5 times. Damage increases by 40% when HP is below 50%. So falling in line with the character, really good. Second skill deals 45% damage to one enemy 4 times and increases all allies' defense by 7% for 10 seconds. Not a big fan of increased defense, but since it's on all allies and it's the second skill, not a bad thing. I would just prefer something that was like increased attack on all allies or maybe even crit rate on all allies. But not the worst thing, just I don't really like increased defense. It could be good in some situations, don't get me wrong. It's just if I'm using a damage dealing team, I want to do as much damage as possible. I'm not really worried about boosting the defense on the overall team. First ability, damage up by 20% when HP is below 60%. Again, really good, falling in line with the rest of the damage skills. And then for the last one, Vigor again, attack up by 10%. So really good weapon and character, pairs really well. I'm not going to go for this one, but I would completely understand if you guys end up summoning for the abstract monster. Really good character. And then also on this banner, we have 2 featured weapons. They're both dark weapons, I believe. One is a dark spear and one is a dark sword. So for the dark sword, on the first main skill, we have 65% damage to a single enemy 5 times. Also has 75% chance to inflict blind for 3 turns. Really strong. Again, anything that's doing blind for 3 turns, we love that. It's just like the abstract monster, why I think the unit is so strong. Same reason, 3-turn blind, can't go wrong with that. Second skill we have deals 45% damage to an enemy 4 times and reduces their defense by 10%. Now I love this. If this was on the abstract monster's weapon, this would be phenomenal. Instead of boosting the defense, decreasing the defense, I would have loved it so much more. I'm not saying it's bad, but this would have made it that much better. So you can't go wrong summoning on this banner because now you have a good weapon and a good character. We'll just have to see if the dark spear is good as well. First ability, damage up by 20% when HP is below 60%. And for the last one, we have attack up by 10%. So it seems everything in this banner is Vigor and then doing more damage when the HP is low. Makes for really good weapons and characters, I have to say. And then for the last featured weapon, we have the spear. And that is going to be deal 70% damage to one enemy 4 times. Damage increases by 20% when HP is below 50%. So again, falling in line with all the other stuff. Second ability deals 40% damage to an enemy 3 times and increases your defense by 8%. Again, with the increased defense, we would much rather have decreased defense, but at the end of the day, we can't complain. It's still not a bad spear overall. And then for the first ability, we have Vigor, which is attack up. And then for the last ability, we have damage up by 12% when HP is below 60%. So I would say out of the 3, spear is the worst. And then the character and the sword, you can't go wrong. If you pull the sword, really good. Same thing with the abstract monster. Both of these top tier pulls. If you pull the spear, it's not a terrible thing. I'm sure you'll find use for it somewhere. It's not the best spear in the game, I'll tell you that right now. And it's definitely the worst thing on this banner. But if you end up pulling the sword or the abstract monster, you are good to go. I would walk away from the banner. So really good addition to the game. Happy to see it. And then we also have the paid banner. And this just means if you pull a 4-star, you will get one of the featured items guaranteed. So you'll either get the spear, the sword, or the abstract monster. That's all it means if you're summoning on a paid banner. Again, I won't be summoning for the abstract monster. That's just me though, and where my account is. I have so many heroes on my account. There's really no reason for me to waste gems summoning on this banner. And I'm not saying it would be a waste of gems. I'm in the process of unlocking the pure dark version of Lavanya, so I'm good to go. Once I get that, I won't really need the abstract version. We know in this game it's just a set of costumes, so sometimes if you have the better costume, not necessarily better, but sometimes if you have one costume, you don't really need to go for the rest. And with the lack of being able to ascend all these characters, it just wouldn't make sense for me to summon on this banner right now. Hopefully it'll come back in the future, or it'll be in the background of the banners and I'll be able to pull it like that. But let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about, and that is the new summoning event. It's not new, we get it every month, but I just want to touch on it really quick for you guys. And that's going to be under subquests, and it's going to be at the top of the list. This is the summoning event. This gives you an ascension, so you guys should always be doing this event. If you choose not to do any events, this should not be the one. Always do this one because this gives you an ascension, and we know in nier ascensions are really important. It works the same as all the other events. They give you weapons and stuff in the banner. Collect those weapons, ascend them, and then it will give you more overall summoning tickets as you farm the stage. So for example, on my current team that I'm using in this one, let me find it. So far, we're getting 15 extra summoning tickets. And if we click up here, we'll see the weapons that are giving us those summoning tickets. And both of these are from the event banner. When you summon on the banner, it'll give you these weapons on the first 3 or 4 levels. And then after that, you'll get your ascension books. And you'll be able to get some ascensions on your current characters. I like this event the most because it drops memories. This one is dropping critical rate. Last one was critical damage, and the one before it was attack. So now you have attack sets, critical damage sets, and crit rate sets. So definitely one of the best events to be farming on a constant basis, because the more you farm this, the better chance you're going to have to get really good memories. And crit rate, crit damage, attack sets, I think are some of the best sets in the game currently, or the most used sets in the game currently. Like, you can get the most use out of these sets, because in a lot of cases you need a lot of crit rate or crit damage or attack, and having the set bonuses just makes it that much easier. And moving on to the sub content, finally we got it. We waited quite some time to get this. At least it felt like quite some time because it was in the game for a while. Before we go straight to the content, I want to show you the loadouts. And the first thing I'm going to tell you guys is don't auto these. I know it will seem easy to just come in here and click auto for whatever element you're doing. So if you're doing light, you could just auto up a dark team. The problem with that is the auto in this game is terrible. It will give you level 1 weapons as your primaries that aren't leveled up or ascended, nothing on them, and it'll put it as your main weapon. And that will really hinder your overall score. That's something I noticed right away. Now, I did auto these teams, but I went through them and kind of beefed them up a little bit. I'm going to build specific teams for each one in the future, but I was able to get to the next stage on all of them. So you can auto it and then just go through it and see what it looks like, but it's going to look terrible, I'm telling you right now, especially if you're doing the element ones. And I do recommend you guys going full element on each boss stage. I did a mixed element team and then a all element team. And the all-element team, even being with some really bad weapons, still did better than my mixed team, because element advantage is everything in nier. And the next thing I'm going to tell you guys is wave 3. Probably want to put your strongest team here, because when you get the knockdown bonus on wave 3, I believe it gives you 450% damage bonus. The first one's like 400, and then the second one is in between that. But I know that the last knockdown bonus is the highest. So the way I'm looking at it is maybe putting the strongest team on wave 3, being that your damage is going to be boosted the most on that last final wave when you get that knockdown. So I'm going to do some more testing, but the way it looks to me is you want to have your strongest team on wave 3, your second strongest team on wave 2, and then your least strongest team on wave 1. I know that seems backwards, but when you do the runs, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So just a tip to throw in there. Right now I have it backwards. I have my strongest team on wave 1 and then my second on 2 and 3, and that's just because I autoed these up. But once I start building out my team, I'm definitely going to do my strongest on 3, second on 2, third on wave 1. So let's go and check out our sub content. So I ran all of these yesterday and the day after, and I was able to open up quest 2. I haven't tried quest 2 yet because I think I'm going to get crushed by this boss. I don't think I'm quite ready to do it, because not only do you need 27 weapons, you need a primary weapon for each element for all 9 characters, and that's what really makes this tough. So you need 9 fire weapons, 9 water weapons, etc., etc. And I think a lot of us are nowhere near that. Even if we want to be, it's just not easy to do, because I'm all over the place when it comes to building weapons. But if we scroll down, you're at least able to do quest 1, and I would recommend farming this every day because it does drop really good medals, and you can only do it once a day per dungeon. My best dungeon, I believe, is light and dark, and that's because I always built light and dark weapons, so it just makes sense that that would be my highest score. But even if you're getting terrible scores on quest 1, if we go up here to the rewards, firstly, you'll see that wherever you finish, you're going to get a ton of stuff, stamina pots, evolution crystals, gold cash-ins, weapon enhancers, character enhancers, all that great stuff. So definitely just running this and getting the best score you can is going to help you out all on its own. And then if we go look at the exchange shop, awesome shop. I ran each battle twice so far, and I already have 1,200 tokens. And if we look, we have our Brilliance box. We know that these are so hard to get. So that will be my first buy. I'm just going to go down the list like that because it seems like it's listed from best to not best. Probably not as you go past this, but everything on the top of this list is a must-have. So I would definitely buy the Brilliance box first because those are really hard to get. We know that. Same thing with the Polycrystal of Thought. Those two things I would say buy no matter what you do, and then the rest is really up to you. But definitely take advantage of the shop. It's worth it. Trust me on that. Even if you're not getting high scores, just auto up a team, throw it in there, let it do its thing. Even if you're only getting a couple hundred medals for all the runs, it's fine. At least at the end of the month, you can cash those out for some awesome rewards. And even if you can get one Brilliance box per month, that is a huge advantage on your account. Trust me on that because they are just so hard to get at this point. So we can see that Light is my strongest one, and that's because Dark is my strongest team. I thought Light would be my strongest team, but it seems that Dark is my strongest team. I don't think I'm ready to run Quest 2 yet, so I haven't touched it. I've just been doing Quest 1, again, just to farm up those medals and rewards. Maybe once I get this high enough to a B or an A, I'll consider switching to the next one. But I think until then, until my score is high enough and I'm happy with it, I will just stay on Quest 1 just to farm as many medals as I possibly can. And now, like I was saying before, we have Wave 1, Wave 2, and Wave 3. And you can see it all right here once you click the waves. Just looking at these waves, I can make huge adjustments. And then just like looking at Griff with his main-handed weapon, he should not be holding that. I mean, it's not a bad thing because he does hold a gun, but he shouldn't be holding a fighter weapon. And 9S should not be holding a two-handed sword. Just little things that I notice when I look at the team. But let's do a run as we wrap this one up so you guys can kind of get a feel on how it looks. I'm sure you guys have been running it yourselves. And I do want to show you guys the knockdown multipliers and what I'm talking about when I say that the first one is the lowest and the last one is the highest. Kind of backwards if you ask me. I mean, it makes sense as the run goes on, it would get higher, I guess. But I would think that it would be opposite, where Wave 1 would be getting the highest multiplier and Wave 3 would be getting the lowest. That is something I noticed right away on my last knockdown bonus. And another thing I can tell you guys is make sure whatever teams you build, they are getting the knockdown bonus. Because if you're not doing enough damage, you won't get to the knockdown bonus part. And if you're not getting that, you're really hindering your damage. So every wave, you want to make sure you're getting at least one knockdown bonus from it. So I'm going to let this play for a minute, and then I'm going to come right back. I made an epic fail, and I used my Light team on the Light boss. And element advantage is everything in this, guys. We were getting like a quarter of the damage because I used the wrong team, and we didn't have element advantage. So I completely just failed. So we're going to run the Dark team. My Dark team is pretty good too. Not as good as my Light team. I'm going to let this run in its entirety so you guys can see what a fight looks like or what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to let this run start to finish, and then I will see you guys in just a minute.
I'll grind them into dust. My thanks.
Need some fighting spirit.
Don't let up.
Thanks, buddy.
Finish this, will you?
Damn it!
hope we can do this.
Don't let up. We've got this. Here we go. Move.
Grant me strength.
Offering support. Now I'll be able to protect everyone. Back me up.
Poof, we're back. Now, there's a few things I noticed during this fight. This team is definitely not as good as my dark team on the light boss. I usually hit 1,000,000 plus damage on the light boss, and that's the one I want to use for the video, but it doesn't really matter. It shows the same thing and the changes that need to be made. And the first thing I'm noticing in the first stage, we're not really taking a lot of damage. Through the whole fight, we're barely taking any damage. So you definitely want to go pure DPS and not really worry too much about the HP and defense. Just stack as much raw DPS on these units as you possibly can, and that's going to boost your overall score. Now, I don't know if that's going to change as we go down the quest list. So on quest 2, it goes up 150%, and then on quest 3, it goes up 350%. So I'm sure as we get through the quest, we will want a little bit more HP and defense. But for the first quest, it's definitely okay to just stack as much DPS as possible to get your rank up to the A or B. I'm really mad at myself for messing up this one. And you can only run it once a day, so if you mess up, that's it. You have to let it run out. But you can clearly see that my score is 1,000,000 plus damage, and then on the bottom one, It's just a little bit short. But to open up the next quest, I think you only need about 800,000 or something like that to get to quest 2. But that doesn't mean you should necessarily move on to quest 2, because I'm nowhere near ready to move to quest 2. And if I move to quest 2, I'm most likely going to get smacked and then waste my 1 attempt that I have per day. So I think you're better off staying on quest 1 until you get up in the A's. This way you can collect as much rewards as possible. And then when your team is good enough, you can go down to quest 2 and quest 3. The next thing I noticed, which I noticed in all the other fights, is the knockdown bonus is the highest on the last wave. And when you have a knockdown bonus, the time completely stops. So if you have 5 seconds left and you get the knockdown bonus, the time will stop and it will allow you to get full damage out of that knockdown bonus. So that is also something to keep in mind. Other than that, it's a straightforward fight. You want to go raw DPS. If you guys have anything to add to this, any tips or tricks, please comment down below and let us know. We love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for the support here on YouTube. We are so close to 4,000 subs. Once we reach it, we will start another sub celebration. If you want to follow me on Twitch and Discord, those are always linked down below. We do 2 monthly giveaways on Discord, random giveaways on Twitch. If you want to be a part of the random giveaway that we do here on YouTube, all you have to do is sub to the channel, like, and comment on my past 10 videos, and I will automatically enter you into the random giveaway. I truly do love each and every single one of you. I will see you in the next one. Spaceballs out. Peace.